Here we are at Porthtowan on Cornwall's north coast. And yes, I'm lucky to get a parking spot today for now. But February's not really high season. This is the Porthtowan beach car park. Can't park on the road because it's for permit holders only. And it means that we're only a few steps away from one of the county's dramatic bits of coastline. Porthtowan's name comes from Cornish Porth and Tywin, roughly cove or landing place, and sand dunes. So literally it does what it says on the tin, a landing place in the dunes, which you can see all around us. You can walk down the end of this lane towards the sand, and we've got all the shops on the way here. And drinking place, and little old ladies in smart cars. Today it's best known as a surfy little village with a great beach bar, a couple of surf schools, and plenty of sand to lose your flip-flops in. But underneath the wetsuits and ice creams, there's a much older story here, built on copper, tin, and a slightly worrying number of mine shafts. Like a lot of this stretch between St Agnes and Porthtowan, Porthtowan was once a busy mining area. In the 18th, 19th centuries, there were mines all around these cliffs, with engine houses, chimneys, and all the noise and smoke that went with them. It's hard to imagine now when all you can hear is the lapping of the sea. Porthtowan's beach is a big sweep of sand, backed up by dunes and cliffs. At low tide it feels enormous. You can walk right out here and the people behind you start to look like ants because you're so far away. At high tide it all shrinks back and you suddenly realise why locals all tell you to check the tide times before you go exploring. Luckily I did check the tide times and we're here just before low tide, so lots of beach to throw a ball for Jago. The beach regularly wins Blue Flag Awards, which basically means the water quality and the facilities are up to scratch. Good news if you're planning a swim, or if you've somehow managed to bring half your household down with a beach trolley. Porthtowan's a bit of a magnet for surfers, as we've just seen with those two guys. When there's a swell running, you'll see a line of bobbing heads just out beyond the breakers, all waiting for the one. Of course, the one usually appears just as you're adjusting your leash or wondering if you should have worn another millimetre of neoprene. On sunny days in season, this place has a real family vibe. Bodyboards everywhere, sand castles that will be demolished with the next tide, and at least one dad without a clue trying to impress his kids with a belly board and ending up in a heap. But what a beach is for if not for having fun. Well, they promised us a glimmer of sunshine. I guess that must be it over there. There's your glimmer. Enjoy. Now, while everyone's playing in the waves, the cliffs above us are telling a completely different story. Porthtowan's fortunes were once tied to copper. Mines like Porthtowan and Tywin were huge operations in their day, pulling vast amounts of ore out from under your feet. One local mine owner, Ralph Allen Daniel, became so rich from Porthtowan that he supposedly earned a guinea a minute, day and night. Imagine that. You'd have to install an extra letterbox just for your bank statements. Today all that's left are the old stacks and engine houses, but they give this stretch of coast a slightly haunting industrial beauty. Of course, this is Cornwall, so you can't have a beach without at least one ghost story. There's an old tale from around here about a voice heard calling out from the sea. The hour is come, but not the man. A ghostly figure was seen on the hill above the cove, who then rushed down towards the water and vanished beneath the waves. No one's entirely sure who he was supposed to be. A drowned sailor, a miner caught by the tide, or just someone who'd been told the pub was closing. But it adds a bit of shiver to the evening walk, especially when the light fades and the cliff starts to loom. This bit of coast's also seen more than its fair share of shipwrecks. Flat sands, hidden rocks, wild winter storms. It's basically an obstacle course for sailing ships. One wreck, the brig Harriet, ran ashore on the sands between here and Chapel Porth in the early 1800s. Things got so lively that a squadron of dragoons had to come down and keep the peace, because local miners were very keen to salvage the cargo. Let's just say the line between wrecking and recycling was a little bit blurry in those days. The sea might look idyllic now, but in the past it could be brutal, and the stories along this coastline prove it. After the mines began to fade, Porthtowan reinvented itself, as Cornish places are very good at doing. In Victorian and Edwardian times it became a popular seaside escape, especially for people from Redruth and surrounding mining towns. Bank holidays would see crowds heading down here in their Sunday best, determined to have a day out even if the wind was horizontal and the sand was exfoliating their faces. Fast forward to today and the outfits have changed. More neoprene, fewer waistcoats, but the basic idea is the same. Get out of town, breathe some sea air, and try not to get sunburnt only on your nose. From the beach you can head up there on the south-west coast path, which runs right past Porthtowan. The climb will get your legs working, but the views will pay you back instantly. On a clear day you can see a long sweep of the north coast, with more mines, more cliffs, and more places where you can tell yourself, I'm definitely coming back with a camera for the sunrise. Beyond the history and the ghosts and the shipwrecks, Porthtowan's also a great spot for simple things. Rock pooling at low tide. What you doing? You having fun? Watching the sun go down behind the headlands, or just listening to the waves while the beach slowly empties. It's worth saying though that this bit of coast demands respect. The tides move quickly and some of the caves and coves can cut you off if you're not paying attention. So enjoy exploring, but maybe don't treat the Atlantic like a big friendly paddling pool. One of the modern institutions here is the beach bar, which is up there, and the various cafes around the village. On a good evening there's nothing quite like sitting with a drink, sandy feet, and that moment of silence when everyone just watches the sun turn the sky red. Unfortunately it's not a dog-friendly beach in season, but you might have noticed that Porthtowan's one of those places where dogs seem to outnumber humans out of season sometimes. We've got one or two kicking about here today. We've passed about 6 going off the beach. You get every size, from tiny nervous things that don't like the waves to huge wet ecstatic beasts that think right next to you is the best place to shake themselves dry. It's all part of the fun, isn't it? So that's Porthtowan, a place where surfers and families play on top of old mine tunnels, where Victorian day trippers once escaped the smoke, and where the sea has never quite stopped telling stories. Some funny, some spooky, some a bit tragic. If you ever find yourself here, give yourself time to do both. Enjoy the beach and look up at the cliffs. Those ruined stacks and lonely engine houses are reminders that this quiet little village used to be one of the busy, noisy front lines of the industrial age. Thanks for joining me on this wander around Porthtowan, well, at least the beach. If you've enjoyed the tour, feel free to like, subscribe and all that good stuff. And let me know in the comments where in Cornwall I should explore next. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.